Welcome to another Vlogmas video, and today I'm gonna talk about 10 authors that I will most likely buy anything from. Hello lovely book dragons, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Joana and I love talking about books on this channel. And Merry Vlogmas to you. Today we're doing a new episode in this madness that is December, and I'm talking about 10 authors that are auto-buy authors for me and that I just love. And some of them are a bit controversial, some of them are very popular, but these are 10 authors that when I know they have a new book coming out, I am most likely gonna pick that up the second it is announced. I just want to preface this video by saying that these are my auto-buy authors. I know that some of them are not, they are a little bit controversial, so these are just the reality. Some authors that I will pick up probably anything that I see from them coming out. The second thing I want to say is that these authors are authors where I've read at least 3 works from each of them. I haven't put authors on here where I have read 1 or 2 books and I love them a lot, even though these will probably make themselves become auto-buy authors, but I wanted to have some authors in this video that I have read a lot from before. And the third thing I want to say is that these are fantasy authors. This year I discovered a lot of different genres, mainly romance. I have become a romance reader also, but I did want to stick to fantasy for this video. Without further blah-blahing, let's go and talk about these authors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do altercations for men and women, and these are no particular order. The first male author that made himself a auto-buy author for me is Kristoff. Now, he is not completely auto-buy as much as the others are on this list, which is why he is though at the bottom of the list, because there are some of his books that I know I will never ever pick up and I just will not read them. I'm actually going to be doing a follow-up to this video, which is books by my faves that I haven't read yet, and I will tell you what I've read, what I haven't read, and what I plan to pick up and don't plan to pick up. But by Kristoff, I've read the Nevernight trilogy, which I love. I know it is not for everyone. I definitely know that a lot of people don't like Nevernight, and that's fine. But Nevernight for me is something that I just absolutely loved. I loved it so much. And I have also now read Empire of the Vampire, which I also gave 5 stars to, and I absolutely loved. So I think that for Kristoff, it is the newer releases that I'm very excited for. He writes, everyone calls him a little edgelord, and I get that, I totally get that, and if he's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But I just happen to really love the stuff he writes about in the Nevernight series and now in Empire of the Vampire. There's a lot of things that he says in those books that just totally resonate with me, which is why he is on my auto-buy authors list. I will not lie, like the second he announces a new fantasy book, I'm probably gonna check it out because I've loved these 2 series, even though Empire of the Vampire is just the beginning of a series, but I have loved that and Nevernight so much that I will buy probably anything he writes out that is fantasy. I have also read Aurora Rising, which is the first book he has in a trilogy that he co-wrote with, I think, Amy Kaufman. I really liked Aurora Rising. I have to reread it to finish it out, but I didn't love it as much as I loved Nevernight or Empire of the Vampire. Then we have, of course, Miss Sarah J. Maas. She is the author that got me back into fantasy. She is the author that just sparked my love for reading, my love for fantasy. Without Sarah J. Maas's books, I wouldn't be here. Sarah J. Maas, like I said, is just like, I owe her so much. I love her books. I love the way she writes so many things. I specifically love the found family tropes in her books. I love these friends that all come together and just have to battle things out, and that I just love that so much. I will say that so she has 2 main series that are completed, and then she's currently working on the Crescent City series, which I really like. That first book, House of Earth and Blood. With Sarah J. Maas, while I really like the Court of Thorns and Roses series, specifically Akamath, let's just say I love Akamath, I think that Throne of Glass is still just she hit the balance of plot and romance and character moments more than in her other series. I have yet to finish Throne of Glass, spoiler for the next video, but yeah, I did absolutely love those books. I still love them. I still, now when I reread them, still love her books. I love Sarah J. Maas. The second she's gonna publish a book, I will read it. I know a lot of people get upset that she wins every Goodreads Choice Awards of the year that she puts out a book, but the reality is I love her books. I will always pick them up and just read them because I love her. Unconditional, like, there's no excuse, I just love Sarah J. Maas. The next author on this list is Josiah Bancroft. He is an author that I discovered this year while reading the Books of Babel, the first book being Sun Ascends. And I know that no matter what Josiah Bancroft is gonna write, I will check out from now on because I loved the Books of Babel so much. At the moment of filming, I'm reading The Fall of Babel, which is the last one. And even if, because I'm not absolutely loving it at the moment of reading, by the time this goes live, I will have finished, I will have had my rating, but the Sandland books are just, the Babel books are just so good. I just love I love the family, the found family aspect in these books. And I think that is something that is a trope with a lot of these authors. They do my favorite tropes in a way that I just absolutely love. And Josiah Bancroft not only has a trope that I really love, he has very original and creative plots and worlds, but his writing is just stunning. I'm not someone who loves beautiful writing, which will totally contradict what I will say with this author and the next author, but I'm not someone who goes for the most beautiful purple lyrical writing. But Josiah Bancroft's prose is just phenomenal. I love it so much. I have so many quotes highlighted in the books of Babel because of how beautifully he says things. And yeah, I know that no matter what happens, no matter what books he decides to publish, I will check out the next books by Josiah Bancroft. Speaking of authors with beautiful writing, we have of course Laini Taylor. I debated on putting her on this list because I don't have this adoration for Laini Taylor like other people have. There's people who will, like I am with Sarah J. Maas, there's people who are like that for Laini Taylor. And my love for Laini Taylor is very quiet, but it's there. I love her books. I love her books, but they're not books that I shout from the rooftops. I don't know why. Maybe because I know that her writing isn't for everybody. And sometimes her writing is too lyrical even for me. And I'm like, Laini Taylor, I mean, it's beautiful what you're writing, but why didn't you say it in a more easy way for me to understand? But that is what's beautiful about her writing. It's just like the way she describes things. You're just like, wow, I wish I could write like this, but alas. But yeah, Laini Taylor, I've read almost everything she's put out and I've loved everything. And I know that when she announces a new book, I am gonna pick it up no matter what, because I'm intrigued by her plots that are so unique, her worlds that are so unique. Everything she does is unique. Her writing is unique. She is just so unique, I guess, which is, I'm not describing her in a unique way, but that's what she is. I just really love the found family. Again, in her books, the found family, the worlds she builds are so creative. The plots are so compelling. The romances are just like swoon worthy, but not even swoon worthy like Sarah J. Maas, like tortured. Like it's like, are they gonna be together? Do they get to have a happily ever after? You don't know. You have to read. I love her books so much. Another author that I discovered this year and is definitely an auto-buy author. I will buy every single thing this man writes, and that is John Gwynne. John Gwynne does two tropes that I love to perfection, and that is the found family and the animal companion trope. Guys, I mean, this year I read Malice in January, and it took over my life. I love his books so much, but they're also very painful, which is why I have a few books by him that I haven't read, because I'm like, I don't want to suffer again. Like, Ruin was the worst thing I've read this year in terms of getting me to sob, so I'm not ready for that. But John Gwynne's writing is something that I know he's not for everyone, because whereas we have Bancroft and Laini Taylor who have beautiful lyrical writing, John Gwynne's writing is a lot more straightforward, which I tend to like. I tend to like writing that's just more straightforward. And I love his writing, but what I love really is the way he does these tropes and how he flips them on their head. Like, when you start Malice, you can think, this is just a chosen one trope. This is just a prophecy trope. And the way he flips everything on their head, and how he uses these tropes that we've seen time and time again, but how he uses them and utilizes them and implements them in his stories is just something that I absolutely love seeing. I love the friendships, the relationships in these books, whether they be familial relationships, like love, romantic relationships, friendship relationships. They're just amazing. You root for them. My favorite characters aren't even the main character of the series. Like, I like Corbin fine, but Veritas and Cohen, they all have my heart. John Gwynne's books are phenomenal, and the action scenes in John Gwynne's books are, to me, I think they're some of the best action scenes that I've read and that I could actually follow, because I'm one of those people that sometimes in battle scenes I kind of like, I just zone out and I have no idea what's going on. But his battle scenes were so compelling. I was just so tense in that last book the whole time, because it's a huge battle scene. I was just like so tense the whole time. And he goes into different aspects of the battle scene, and it's just so well done. Such a good series. Please pick up John Gwynne if you haven't. I discovered him this year, and boy, what a treat. I love this man's writing. I love this man's stories, and I will definitely pick up anything he writes ever. Speaking of authors that make me cry, that make me suffer, and I love them for it, we have Robin Hobb. I mean, Robin Hobb, guys. I love Robin Hobb. I discovered her last year with the Farseer trilogy. I'm currently working on reading The Realm of the Elderlings, but her books are huge and they make me sad, so I sometimes need a long time between her books just because I don't want to suffer. But Robin Hobb is I don't even know what to say about Robin Hobb because she's just amazing. She has everything. She has the characters that are phenomenal, the world building that is phenomenal. She has the tropes that I love done in a beautiful way. She has, again, found family, animal companion, amazing tropes. She has a magic system that is unique in a way where it's not about the magic system so much, at least not what I've read now, but it's this massive, massive world, and how in different parts of the world they have different cultures and things are completely different, and it's just so well done. Her world feel lived in. That's the main thing with her. With some authors, you can kind of, you read the books and you're like, okay, this world was created for this story. Yes. And of course it is the case. But with Robin Hobb, you can imagine that there is a Six Duchy somewhere, that there is this planet that with all these people that live somewhere, because that's how lived in it feels. And it's just so well done. Her books are just perfect for rereads, I already know, because there's so much foreshadowing that you cannot pick up on the first read. And what I do sometimes is I go watch spoiler discussions just so people point out all those things that I missed. I'm like, oh, how did I miss this? It's gonna be so awesome when you reread. And Robin Hobb has beautiful writing as well. I just love her books. Her books, I think, are some of the ones that I love most because they have it all. They just have it all, and I don't know if she's still gonna be writing, but I still have a lot of books by her to read, thank goodness. But if she did announce that she was gonna write something new, I would definitely pick it up because I love her books. Another author that I just love so much, and I will pick up anything he writes, is of course Joe Abercrombie. I love Joe Abercrombie. I discovered him last year as well, and Joe Abercrombie. I don't know what it is. I think Joe Abercrombie is one of those authors that I just carry in my heart, and I don't know, it's like a very weird way of explaining how much I love his books, because I had this thing when I picked up The Blade Itself, which is the first book I read by him, and it's the first book in the first law. I picked it up, and there was this prologue, and then I was like, okay, it's a prologue, it's fine. First chapter. And I think it was in the first chapter that we meet Glokta. I think so. And I knew from the second that Glokta was trying to walk either up the stairs or down the stairs. I don't remember. But I knew from that moment on, I will die for this man. I will die protecting Glokta. And then you keep on reading and you're like, maybe I should take these words back because this guy is like, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy, but I love Glokta. He made himself onto my favorite characters list, which I will be filming a video for that. Maybe you've already seen it, maybe not, I don't know. But I just love Glokta. I love all the characters. I love some of like Jazal Dan Luthar is a character that in book one you're like, I love to hate you, man. I love to hate you so much. And I don't know, he just like, that is for me the strong point of Joe Abercrombie, except for his magnificent prose. I love his prose, but his characters are just, as a character-driven reader, you cannot dream of a better author than Joe Abercrombie, because it's just, for me, his strong point. It's why I love his book so much, because I get so attached to these characters and I just love them so much, and the beautiful writing on top. And I love the humor in his books, because there are scenes that are absolutely ridiculous, and it's just like, you're in a battle and someone slips because someone put something in the wrong spot, or they slip on poop or anything like that. But those are things that, yes, this would happen in real life. I love the approach that Joe Abercrombie has with writing, where he has this, is it true? Like, he doesn't write something that isn't true, and you can tell. He keeps only the things that really matter in it, and I just love him for that. I love his characters. I will read anything this man has written. I love Joe Abercrombie, and I love watching interviews with Joe Abercrombie because I just think he's hilarious. He is so funny. I love Joe Abercrombie. Yeah, I love him. I will read anything he writes. The next author I want to talk about is an author that I really liked the trilogy that she has written and that I have read, which is The Poppy War. It's R.F. Kuang, the author. I really liked The Poppy War. And in hindsight, I know I gave every single book in that series 5 stars, but I know that I didn't love The Burning God as much as, I think it's more like a 4-star maybe in hindsight. But yeah, I think that the conclusion of the series wasn't as strong as I wish it had been, but I will pick up whatever she reads next. I was debating on putting her on this list. I was like, yeah, but you don't love her books as much as you love the others on this series. Like, you love The Poppy War, but it's not like, wow, I love the Poppy War series. I recommend it to everyone, because also it's super grimdark, so I can't recommend it to everyone. And I know it's also not for everyone, but I know that no matter what Rebecca Kuang is going to write, I'm going to read. And that's why she's on this list, because she's an autobi author. Like, I am definitely very much looking forward to whatever she writes next and seeing what she comes up with, because the debut that was The Poppy War was so strong. You couldn't even tell that that was a debut author, I feel like. And that's why I loved it. I loved the way she created these super unlikable characters. And that's why a lot of people cannot read her books, because they're like, I cannot root for these characters. I cannot root for anyone because they're all terrible people. Yes, and I love that about her books. I love I love seeing these characters make decisions that you just want to slap them for it and see the fallout. It's just, it was just so well done. I loved her books. I loved her writing style. I loved the Asian mythology, Asian inspired fantasy worlds that she created. And therefore I will pick up anything she has written. Even if I wasn't a massive, massive fan of everything that happened in that series, I still loved it. I still gave every single book like either 4 or 5 stars, which is super awesome. And I will pick up whatever she writes next. Of course, my last male author, you know, you're on this channel, you know, Brandon Sanderson. I mean, come on guys, come on. Brando freaking Sando. Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author of all time. I love him. I love his books. I love his worlds. I love the Cosmere. The Cosmere is just something that is so near and dear to me. Brandon Sanderson has written my favorite characters. He has written so many things that I love. He has written a book that makes me want to cry right now. He has written a book that I could pick up no matter when, no matter where, and I will feel like I'm home. His books just give me so much comfort. His books are just so, I don't know. I love the Cosmere so much. I've read some of his other books as well that I have also really enjoyed. I just love Brandon Sanderson, honestly, guys. I just love the worlds he creates, the characters he creates, the way he writes things. I love everything about him. I love all of his books. And yeah, I'm hosting a readathon for all of his books that's spanning 3 years. I mean, of course he was going to be on this list. Of course I'm going to buy everything the man writes. I love Brandon Sanderson. And the last author on this list is going to be a female author, and that is S.A. Chakraborty, who wrote the David Bott trilogy. This series is one where, exactly the same as, for example, R.F. Kuang, I've only read that one trilogy by each of those authors, but as if the Poppy War is here on my how much I liked it, David Bott is like over here. I love the David Bott trilogy. It is one of my favorites. I love those characters. I love the S.A. Chakraborty. She is phenomenal. Like the way she writes the characters, chef's kiss, the atmosphere, chef's kiss, the plot, chef's kiss, the romance, everything is so good. Everything is so luscious, and it transports you. I love her books so much. That trilogy is also one, kind of like with Brandon Sanderson, where I know I will reread the David Bott trilogy over and over and over and over again because of how much I love it. I have read the first 2 books twice, and I loved it. I loved listening to the audiobooks because it is even more transportive. I just love it so much. I love her books. I know that no matter what she writes, the second it's announced, the second I can pre-order those books, you bet your sweet bottom dollar that I'm gonna pre-order them because I love her books so much. So there you go, guys. These are my top 10 auto buy authors. There's some other authors, of course, that I will buy when I see their stuff coming out. I didn't put George R. R. Martin on here because I just want Winds of Winter and it's not gonna come out. So I kind of out of spite I didn't put George R. R. Martin on here, but of course, George R. R. Martin is one of my favorite authors, but I don't even believe he's gonna put anything out anymore that I wanna read, so that's why he's not on here. But these are authors that are currently working or currently putting things out, or Robin Hobb, I don't know if she's putting things out, but that I just love, and she's completed things, so that's why she's on here. These are authors that I just love their works, that I know that I even save some of their books to read on a rainy day, just because I know when anything fails, when I'm reading a bunch of 2 or 3 star books, I can pick up any of these authors' works and get a 5-star rating out of it. And so that's why they're on this list. Let me know in the comments down below if any of these authors are your auto-buy authors, and or let me know which ones are your auto-buy authors and that I haven't checked out yet, because I would love to know. And if you just want to let me know that you were here, leave a Christmas tree emoji, because of course it is Vlogmas. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you just want to let me know that you were here, leave the Christmas tree emoji, and happy holidays to you all. We'll see you in 2 days for my next Vlogmas video. Bye guys.